When Gavin first came across from Port Adelaide, he never had a build, you know, that was a magnificent stature of a footballer coming in. He was a very young person, being recruited from Port Lincoln to Port Adelaide. And when we saw him play, he looked just so brilliant. But you always worry about, you know, how they're going to handle AFL pressure or VFL in those days compared to SANFL, South Australian National Footy League, sort of. But the way he played, he looked like he could adapt fairly quickly, which he did. He's a wonderful player over there. But it's still the harder, bigger, quicker game here it was, even in the early 90s. And the 90s was a very powerful decade of footy. Everybody was getting bigger and stronger, and then of course by the mid-90s, professional football come in. So the challenge was not just coming from Port Lincoln to Port Adelaide to Essendon, it was a whole new era starting, if you look at the history of the game.
Oh, what a man by Wanganeen! Forced to kick with that left foot. Not bad, looks for hit. Oh, Wanganeen!
Pike up to half forward, Heady with Wanganeen. That's the man, that's the man. What a game, Gavin Wanganeen.
The boundary line, it's still a live ball out of mid-air. Wanganeen, the goal of the year.
Well, I think Gavin, from a point of view, we had never seen a player as good as Gavin in low ground ball skills. I mean, there's not many players in the history of the game that could really move down and not fumble a ball. Other than that, he was such a brilliant player anyway, but if you actually edit some of the different parts of his game, we knew that he was just a non-fumbler, and not everybody is that. You know, he's brilliant there. I mean, he's brilliant reading of the play. He can read a ball coming down the ground. I mean, one of the great things about putting him back in defence, I think he went back there somewhere in about round 3 or 4 in year 93. He won the Brownlow in that last, probably, I wouldn't have thought he would have got a vote in the first 4 games. And he's won the Brownlow that year in a 20-game season, which is quite a brilliant performance. Going into a first position, he'd never played before, playing in a team that, you know, was a very young side. I mean, it's probably the youngest team that ever won a premiership. And he's back there and he ended up winning a Brownlow medal, which is an incredible performance of a person that might have been playing his first 40 games of AFL.
I declare Gavin Wanganeen the 1993 Brownlow medalist.
It's amazing when you think back, because when Gavin had the year that he had in 1993, to be the first Indigenous player to win a Brownlow, I didn't even think about that at the time. We just think of Gavin as a fantastic player, obviously. But to me it was sort of like the way he held himself in the public eye was very, very good. There's no maybe, could be, I didn't want to do it and I should have done it and all that. He just did it. And he did it in magnificent style, and that's why everybody loved him. And of course Gavin is still a very intelligent person who's magnificently looked at his career after footy and now does some of the most wonderful art. So in general, you know, the guy's just been magnificent for the game, and I think in the end been wonderful for the First Nations people of Australia and for his own family. You could not get a better young man to perform the way he did and execute with class and style.